There's a distinct relationship between poverty and religion. The poorest countries on earth have the most churches. The richest have the fewest. The most educated people in the world are more likely to be atheist or agnostic, and the least educated are more likely to be religious. So this is an interesting relationship. Well, first of all, poverty places you in a distinct space of vulnerability. You do not have the opportunities, the education, and the possible outcomes. So as a result, you need something to believe in, because every human being needs a purpose. They need something to believe in. They need to know that it's going to be all right. And they need to know that they can fulfill their needs. And they need to believe that their destiny is in the hands of a supreme being who can help them realize their objectives. So they turn to church to fill that need. They go to church and they get told that God will do this for you, and that this, what is happening in your life, is not a result of your own bidding, that the external forces will work towards the realization of these goals. It's less likely to convince someone that's educated that, or someone that's not poor of that, because they are self-aware. They understand that their destiny is in their hands. So poverty in itself drives people to church because they need to seek answers and they need to find a purpose, a reason to wake up in the morning. And then they go to church. When they get to church, they get exploited by the church, because now there's another element to it, that in order for you to get favor from the Most High, you have to sacrifice a little. And coming from this place of vulnerability, the poor will take their little they have to these churches, to their preachers, and they keep enriching these churches and their preachers at their own expense. You have seen many, many incidences of preachers driving around in luxury cars when their own believers, when their own sheep, in quotes, have to trudge on foot to go to church, to take a bike to go to church, to pay for transportation to go to church. And this has created a system whereby a capitalist religious society, whereby the churchgoers are poor and the owners of the church are rich. So it ceases to be a place, a sanctuary for these people, as it were, and becomes just another haven for the exploitation of these people. A poor person will take the little they have to church, hoping that it will be multiplied 100-fold by the Supreme Being. Obviously, this never happens. This money just goes to the church coffers and just gets skimmed off the top by the leadership of the church. And as a result, the poor continue being poor while singing songs of praise, while doing this and this. And they keep hoping and praying, and they pray for decades. And the things they are praying for never come to pass. But when that happens, they say that the Lord decides his own time. And this cycle will continue and continue to the point of death, because truly they are not after earthly rewards, because their rewards are up there in an abstract concept of heaven. They work toward a place that is beyond the earth, that is beyond material possessions, while ignoring the fact that the same people that are telling them about these heavenly possessions are the ones accumulating earthly possessions at their expense. And this is why I'll share that quote here. The philosopher Karl Marx argued that religion is the opium of the masses. The whole religion thing really baffles me. So let's say, and this is the reason why the poor will be poor even when they go to church and they pray 36 days, 36 hours a day, if that's possible. Uh, it is Poverty is terrible. I've seen its effects, I've seen its outcomes, and the position it puts people whereby they can't think intellectually, they can't be there for themselves, they can't show up for themselves, they cannot believe in themselves. I would never wish poverty on my most malevolent enemy. But the idea of poverty, the idea that religion will solve poverty is laughable. So you have a problem and you pray about it and you do nothing about it. I've not encountered an incident whereby the Most High drops on the top to help you solve this problem that you have. What happens is that you still have to find a solution to that problem. But I guess at that point, your prayers are reassuring. It is one thing to be poor, and another thing to be poor and expecting literal manna. Now, the problem I have with this whole belief that the Most High will provide is that it doesn't happen. We are in control of our own destinies. We choose and we work, and sometimes we are lucky, sometimes we are not. But the whole idea that a supreme being will provide is strange. And as I said, it's just one thing to be poor, another thing to be entirely poor and not doing something about it and hoping on religion that religion will do something about it. There is a real sense of irony to the way we go about religion. If now I want to say something here. Religion has its own place. Religion has a positive influence of society. But we need to understand how. I think a lot of people find purpose in religion. And I think a lot of people find comfort and they go to church and they learn about the values of kindness and generosity and being a good neighbor. And those are good things for society generally. And people avoid crime because they are afraid of eternal damnation. But what I have a problem with is this foolish belief that somehow an external entity controls your destiny and you can do nothing about where you are except if that happens. There are educated people that are religious, there are rich people that are religious. It serves a purpose for them. But religion cannot be a means to an end. It has to be supported by real action, by real education, and an understanding that you can do something about your situation, an understanding that if there is a Most High out there who loves you, then they surely don't want you to take all your money, all your wealth to church at the expense of your people or yourself. I believe the whole idea of religion has been used to blind and brainwash and exploit poor people. And I think it will go on for a very long time because we have seen poor people themselves admitting that they are happy that their preachers and pastors have means of transportations and flashy cars because the kingdom of heaven is rich. How can it be? How can the kingdom of heaven be rich when your home is poor? Are we enriching the kingdom of heaven? Or are we finding means to sustain ourselves? The whole thought process behind religion and poverty is diabolical, exploitative, and frankly repulsive, especially considering that these are people that present themselves as messengers of the Most High.